Welcome back, Soccerholics. This weekend we're excited to come to a new venue for the first ever time to find out what it's like to be a Hammer in the city. This morning I've come to the fans' headquarters of West Ham United, the Dog and Bear pub on Queen Street, to feature their home game against Tottenham Hotspur. The Hammers are currently in 15th place and coming off a recent 1-0 away loss to Brighton, while Spurs are up to 5th, with striker Harry Kane in steady form, finding the back of the net 4 times in his last 5 appearances in all competitions. From the London Stadium, it's a London derby. Hammers versus Spurs for match day number 9 is next. Time for the London Stadium, West Ham 0, Tottenham 1, Eric Lamela with the only goal. We're here to review the game. I'm here with Simon on my left. He's the chairman of the West Ham Supporters Club here in Toronto.
Not officially, the chairman. I just run the social media.
Runs the social media, good enough. And fans next to me, we have Steve and Dan on my right. So guys, 1-0. What do you think about the game, Simon? How did you think your team went? Personally, I thought a little bit flat, considering London derby, playing at home, you know.
Yeah, I was expecting a bit more first half, especially. Mark Noble likes to normally get in with a big old tackle to get the crowd going, but that didn't happen today. First half, really not too much between the teams. A little bit disappointed to concede late on, and that was that really. They just there wasn't much to do after that.
Yeah.
We huffed and puffed second half, but. A couple of good saves from their keeper. Yeah, I think that was probably about it.
Yeah. Steve, did you think? I mean, looking at the game, I thought it was a little bit. It wasn't really any urgency from the team. Didn't see every time West Ham were approaching the box. All I saw was white shirts in the box. Didn't really see many. So you didn't really have many options, really.
No, and that's one of the things we're missing this year. We don't have that killer instinct in the penalty box. Lack of creativity. I was glad to see that Aaron Cresswell was on. I think he's an outstanding winger and supplies great balls in, but they weren't taking advantage of that. And even Antonio, when he came on, seemed somehow somewhat reserved than he is normally, and unfortunately lacked that killer instinct again with trying to get something in the box and being creative about it.
Dan, when you look at this club, you know, you always hear about the top 6. West Ham aren't in that top 6, unfortunately. How do you think, going ahead, do you see a team like West Ham competing against the big boys in the English Premier League?
How? I don't think we can. That's a fact of it. Unless some mega rich oil tycoon guy comes in and buys the club. Like, there's no way we're going to ever compete for the top 6. Just got to fight for that 7th spot, really, with like the Evertons and Leicesters and that. Yeah.
But do you feel like your team, because West Ham was great back in the day, I remember growing up, I lived in East London, they were a good team and they did compete near the top of the table. So I mean, how do you as a fan who supports this club ever see that happening? I mean, do you just hope for the best one day and go, oh, there's a story about a rich old tycoon interested in buying the club? I mean,
not necessarily. Like, obviously you can wish, you can dream that we'll magically make things happen, and you never know. Like, Leicester happen, that's a 1 in a million type thing, but you never know what's going to happen. You just hope to have a good season and play well. Really, that's how
even the current owners said a few years ago that as West Ham supporters, they were hoping the only way they would sell the club is to somebody with very, very deep pockets, like somebody from Saudi Arabia who would come in and do what they've done to Manchester City. So that's the best we can hope for. But at the same time, you look at the amount of money that our owners have spent this year, and yet we're still getting these kind of results, and that's frustrating.
Yeah. So let's quickly, Simon, let's talk about the history of why you guys came to Dog and Bear and created this Toronto Hammers. What's it like having? Because as I look around, a lot of British people here, not many Canadians, which is unusual for us because a lot of sports clubs we go to, mostly Canadian, so it's very reversed here. What's it like to be having a little home away from home, as they say?
Well, it's nice. I think the reason there's more English, that we're proper fans. We haven't just gone. You know, there's a few Canadian fans here. Some of them have ties to the club. Some of them don't. We're not the sort of club that you go, oh, they're doing well. We're gonna support them. So I think that's, you know, your Man Uniteds, your Chelseas, and all that. You're gonna get bigger turnouts there for sure. But yeah, I mean, it's nice to have some boys to hang out with on a Saturday, have a shout, have a cheer for your club. We started out here about 2012. There's been other West Ham supporters clubs around that kind of fizzled, but we've stuck around, and yeah, and everyone's welcome. Yeah. So
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Steve, over the past 10 years, you've had a history of some great managers: Alan Curbishley, Gianfranco Zola, player great Slaven Bilic, the recent David Moyes, and now Manuel Pellegrini. Out of those, who's been your favourite and why? And can you see a difference in the coaching style from then to now?
Well, there were last time when we had Stuart Pearce on the team, for example, as a coach. I think that sort of regime was good for us because with somebody like Stuart Pearce, with his pedigree, he's only going to be good for the team. But you know, obviously, I think he was an assistant coach or something. But I think he was there under the umbrella of David Moyes and Sam Allardyce. So you know, I enjoyed the fact that he had that injection into the team. But we've just been lacking that kind of killer instinct again when it comes, and I keep using that. That's the thing that we are missing. And when you look at some of the other teams that are out there, and you look what they do when they're in the penalty box, we just don't seem to be able to do that. So, and that really starts from the manager down. So in the last 10 years, I would say, sadly, that there isn't one of those managers that I would jump up and down and say, yeah, let's have him again. I want them to stick with Manuel Pellegrini because of what he's done in the past and what he's done with teams. I'd like them to stay patient with him and see what happens. You know, in Canada, we're used to the idea of having people say that we're in a year of rebuilding. This is exactly what's happening with West Ham. And as a supporter, I think every single one of us here want to see West Ham winning every game, every competition. That's not going to happen. But if we are at least going in the right direction with a decent manager, we've made some outstanding purchases this year with players, and we just really need for that to click, and then hopefully we're going to be heading in the right direction up the table.
Yeah. I'm surprised then, because you had David Moyes, right? And he actually did really well, but I know he signed a contract which was just for one season. But I'm surprised. Were you surprised that they didn't actually keep him on? Because he was actually, didn't he? Am I wrong? Did he do well with results towards the end?
The results were bang average. He kept us up, fair enough, but the football was pretty dire. Like, I'm happy with getting rid of him and getting Manuel Pellegrini personally, because the football's better, we're passing it around better, we're playing better football, and yeah, hopefully the results will come in time. As you say, we bought some good players this year, so hopefully we will get better results than today. Like, Spurs didn't look fantastic today. Like, they were there for the taking. Yeah, we could have easily got a result today. I don't think with Moyes we would have just defended and then hoped to get a goal on a corner or whatever. Yeah, I much prefer how it is rather than with Moyes. Yeah.
So we're a couple of months away in October to the winter transfer window. I mean, who are you looking for? Who do you want? What do you need?
Well, we've had a few injuries, so we're pretty light in midfield at the moment. We definitely need some cover there. If Arnautovic is not fit, we don't really have anyone else who can play up on his own. So we're, you know, you could say we're light there as well. We've got a couple of young lads who could possibly fill that role. There's I think a young Portuguese lad. I can't remember his name right now, but he seems to be doing well. But who knows if he can step up for that. But yeah, I think we definitely need. We're gonna need some bodies around. And also we've got Lanzini and hopefully Carroll coming back. hopefully around January. So, you know, who knows?
Well, guys, I wish you the best of luck. You know, I hope you guys can be one of those teams that you know, pushes into that top 6. Because I think, you know, another club from London would be great up there, definitely.
Yep, absolutely.
Thanks for having us. I want to say thanks, Simon, Steve, and Dan. If you're a new person to Toronto and you're a West Ham fan, this is where you need to come down to Dog and Bear. Toronto Hammers is the handle for the Twitter. For myself, Ben, rest of the team at Soccerholics, thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time, Soccerholics TV.